Hey guys, Rob here. In today's video, I want to give you a massive warning about something you should watch out for. And it's something that I see a lot of people fall into a pit hole for if they are like trying to either go somewhere, progress at something, or, even like start their business, all right? And to keep going and to make it good and everything like that. And this comes down to basically filtering your information. So in 2022, the barrier to entry for creating content, for putting yourself out there, for thought leadership, okay, is basically there's no barrier at all, right? You can make a LinkedIn account, you can start typing away, Facebook account, YouTube account, and start filming videos, giving information out about what you think about certain things. And any one of those pieces of content can suddenly go viral for whatever reason, and it can attract a bunch of eyeballs to more of your other stuff. So it's kind of great because it gives people like a lot of opportunity, but it's also very bad as well because 99% of information that's out there is either information that doesn't help you or it's information that actually detracts away from what you're trying to do. So a good example of this is I was reading through LinkedIn the other day, and this guy had made this post about, it was like the 7 steps to creating a successful YouTube account and getting 1 million subscribers or something like that, right? And I was reading through it and he laid out all these steps. And in the comments, there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these comments, right? All like, oh, thank you so much. This is a wonderful post. Oh, I'm going to try all these things. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. And I was like, okay, I reserved judgment at the time, right? But then I carried on reading, and the creator of the post hadn't actually, it turned out that he hadn't actually ever created a YouTube account. And it turned out as well that like he hadn't helped anybody else create a YouTube account. All he was doing was his simple own observations, and he was just saying them in a post. Now, the problem is, it's not the fact he's made this post. The problem is the people underneath this post who can't filter their information. And this post hasn't come from any real world experience, but it's giving guidance and advice to people on what they should do. But all these people underneath the post who are commenting just believe it. They don't filter it, right? They don't think, experience is better than theory. Instead, they're like, this looks like really good information. I'm just going to try all of this. And a lot of people waste the time because some of those tips just don't work. I know because I'm trying to build a YouTube account, right? And it's very hard, right? It's not like beginner level. It's like you have to do it. There's a lot of things you got to do for it. And I'm just like, the people who make it and the people who don't, they filter their information in a way where they learn from only a certain standard of people. They learn from the top, right? It's not about learning from your neighbor and what they're doing. It's not about, copying your competitor. It's not about sitting in your armchair and typing theory-based content or reading theory-based content. What it's about is learning from great people who've done something which you would like to do. Looking at history, looking at psychology, looking at all the people who've come before you who've done really great things. For instance, like if you want to learn about investing, rather than looking at what your friend does and how they make $100 a month or whatever, you should look at what Warren Buffett does, right? Because he's probably the world's best investor, right? Instead of, arguing when you're trying to make a business deal, all right? You should look at what the world's best negotiators do and how they handle it because they've got the answers, right? Your friend down the road doesn't have the answers. This person who's posting content who's making 10 grand a month on LinkedIn, they don't have the answers either. I don't even have the answers, right? You shouldn't take anything I say as fact. But what you should do is do your due diligence, right? And look at like who knows what they are talking about. And I saw this so funny. I saw this other post the other day, and I think this guy's like a dating coach. I'm not going to name any names or anything, it's unfair. I think they were like a dating coach, and they were saying, and obviously they've got like quite a big audience, and they made this like post about like the one key thing that you need to do to date any person you want, right? That's quite a big promise, all right? And he was like, you have to make sure that you drive, all right? Whatever car, whatever situation you need to drive, okay? Even if it's like their car, you need to like get out of the car and jump in their side and make sure you drive the car. And I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about, right? And all these people underneath the post were like, this is so good information. I see where I've been going wrong all this time. And having a big audience when you don't know what on earth you're talking about is very, very dangerous, because you're not helping anyone, right? You're actually detracting away from everyone else's goals. And it's a big distinction there. And I think content creators do it for a few key reasons. I think they've stirred a lot of ideas around in their own head, and they haven't read information from great people and people who've come before them and done it before. So they're kind of stirring their own ideas around. Picture it like you're making a soup, but rather than using ingredients, you just stir in an empty pot. And if you stir in an empty pot, all right, you just got water in there, right? And the soup's not going to taste very good, right? Because it hasn't got many of the good ideas in it. But then it's also that I think content creators as well, whatever platform they're on, they feel the need to post regularly, right? And just put something out. It doesn't matter what the quality is, just pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it. And eventually, even if they had good ideas for the first few videos, the information they start to give ends up becoming like very poor quality and might actually hurt people rather than help them. But unfortunately, we've got like the great ideas at the top when they first started, and it goes to the bad ideas where after a while, after they've been doing it. Unfortunately, the audience starts very small at this point here, but then the audience get larger and larger. So the audience is actually just exposed to the poor ideas instead. And it's just a dangerous world. So what I'm trying to tell you is, you've got to learn to filter your information. You've got to learn to look at like your sources. You've got to learn to look at like, are the people you are listening to, have they actually been around the block a little bit, got the experience first of all? Second of all, are they actually themselves listening to great people? Because any person who says they know it all is just a liar, right? They don't know it all, right? And I actually managed to get ahead when I was building my business on LinkedIn by actually doing the opposite of what all the gurus were saying that you need to do. They were all like, you need to engage on 100 people's posts a day. You need to just engage. You need to create content, 5 times a day. And like, I just didn't do that, right? I was just like, I'm not doing any of that, right? I'm not doing that. I know what works because I know sales and I know marketing as well. And that's bad information right there. And because I had the knowledge from people who were above me, I was able to filter out the bad information. And then I was actually able to come around and do a lot better than these people who were giving this advice. So you have to understand that the way forward is to filter out your information and to make sure you're constantly learning. Like Warren Buffett says, you've got to be a learning machine, constantly be learning. And even some of the top people, they've got like bad ideas as well, right? Because they're not always going to get it right. Some of their information's wrong. But if you learn from enough sources, you'll be able to be like, okay, actually. So learning from enough sources and having the real world experience, you'll be able to filter that information and be able to be like, I'm not going to do that right there because that's silly. And that separates you from the masses who are all in the comments section saying, oh my God, this has changed my life. This has changed my life. Even when the information hasn't, they just feel excited about it because it's new information. And they like the person, right? Instead, it will actually help you move forward because you'll be able to pick the ideas that work for you, quickly try them out if you're unsure, leave the ones which definitely don't work for you, which you already know because you know from other sources, and just take the good information and use it in your own life or use it in your business, which is exactly what I did, right? And this will help you way more than any of the generic advice out there. So you should be learning from multiple sources. And you should be implementing quickly, disregarding the bad ideas, which is the majority of the stuff. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one, and take care. Have a great one.